Hello, welcome to episode 21 of the Datapack tutorial series for version 1.21 and sometimes higher. We are going to be doing a villager dialogue experiment. Well, I've done the experiment, I'm now showing you what it is. So I've got two villagers who don't want to look at me for some reason. This is just my reload, so I can reload the Datapack nice and quickly, and this is resetting the data. We have Bob. If I click on Bob, he'll say something and run a command. As command is just setting a block. If I click on him again, how are you? There we go, he's cycling through, and he'll just keep cycling through those. He's stuck on that. Noodle, he's a bit more complicated. He's got a fetch quest. So if I talk to him, my name's Noodle, do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? Do you have a potato? Can you give me one? He's now stuck waiting for a potato. Okay, Noodle, you can have a potato. Here we go. Give him a potato. Oh, wow, thank you, I've opened the door. Well, what he's done is he's run a command as well. And now if I talk to him, he's just stuck on thanks again for my potato. Okay, so let's have a little quick look at the Datapack. This is basically what it's running from. It's running from this storage. And you can see here we've got Bob's messages. And down here we've got Noodle's messages. So Bob just says, message, hello, my name's Bob. And he runs a command. And then he just says, how are you? And he cycles through that. Noodle, hello, my name's Noodle. Do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? And then he switches to running between these two commands. And each time he says one of these, he's running a command to check if I'm holding a potato. If I'm not, he'll just keep cycling through. If I am, he won't play a message. And then he'll then move on to play, oh, well, thank you very much. And he'll set the block as a command. And then he says thanks again, and he gets stuck in that loop there. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to do a little bit of NPC dialogue. If you've got ways to improve it, please let me know. You know, I quite like the way it works at the moment, but I'm sure there's always room for improvement. Anyway, it's going to be a bit of a long one, so I'll start waffling. Let's get on and make it now. Okay, right. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop over to our empty data pack. If you don't know how to make this, you can watch episode 1, and I'm going to create all the files and all the folders that I'm going to need. So if at any point you need to have a look, you can just come back to this sort of a chapter. So let's make a new folder in our namespace. Advancement, that is obviously going to be for our advancement. New file, I'm going to call it npc chat.json. And in function, I create a new folder, npc. And in npc, I'm going to create a new folder called dialogue. And I'm going to create one called summon, and in dialogue I'm going to create a new folder called controllers, and also in dialogue a new folder called progress. Okay, now let's make some files. In summon, new file, I'm just going to call it Bob. That would be one of my villagers. And I will create another one in summon called Noodle. Am I thinking about food? Maybe. So those are going to be for summoning our villagers. And in progress, I'm going to have one called new file. This I'm going to give Noodle a fetch quest. He wants a potato, so this will be Noodle potato check. .mc function, and in the controllers I'm going to have a new file. I'm going to have command run, because the villagers will be able to run commands. Another new file called dialogue init for initializing the dialogue. Another new file called dialogue display for displaying what they say. I want another new file called npc interact. This is going to be what the advancement calls. And then are they going to be interacting with Bob or Noodle? New file will say npc Bob. And I'm going to copy that one and rename it to NPC Noodle. Okay, I think that is pretty much all of the files and folders we need. So let's start with load. I want a couple of scores, so let's go into our load function. There's some comments. I'm not going to put comments as I'm making it, but in the downloadable version I'll put some comments. Scoreboard, objectives, add NPC progress. How far along have I got talking to Bob? Now if we've got one for Bob, we'll have one for every NPC, so Noodle needs one as well. And we'll save that, and I think, let's just shut all of these down, because they're all open from when I created them. I think that's all we need to do in the load. So as I talk to Bob, my NPC progress Bob is going to go up, and the same for Noodle. Let's make the... should we do the advancement? Let's summon Bob. Let's go to Bob, and we will summon a villager at those coordinates. And it will have a custom name, apostrophe, speech marks. It's going to be Bob. I don't want him to have any AI. No AI. True. I want silent true, for it's going to be annoying when we're testing if they're not. I want them to have some tags. 2 tags. He is an NPC. And his name is Bob. We'll give it some villager data as well. Villager data. I'll give him a level. We're not going to be trading with him. I'll give him a profession. Oh, can you just pick it for us? I'm going to have librarian. And I'm going to give him a type. I'm going to say plains. Okay, I think that will do for Bob. Let's copy all of that. Control copy. Save it. Shut that function down. Go to summon Noodle. Paste it in there. He's going to be pretty much identical. Noodle. Change his name and we'll change his tag. Noodle. Save. Okay, let's pop over to Minecraft. Let's change our camera. Do you know what I'm going to do? First thing I'm going to do is make myself reload. There we go. Reload. Now my villagers have to be a little bit of distance apart. Let's run a function. Summon Bob. Sorry, Bob. And we'll run a function. Summon Noodle. Okay, so we've got a Noodle and we've got a Bob. Cool. Okay, let's go back. Well, actually, let's go off to Misode and we'll make the advancement. So let's go to Misode. Here's our advancement. It's not going to be a location. Player interacted with entity is what we want. Player interacted with entity. Add that. We will have entity conditions. In entity, it will be this. Entity type, well, I want it to be a villager. And I want some NBT as well. I want to check NBT tags. I'm only going to check if they are NPC tag. That should be all right. And the reward will be to run a function, and it will be IDYT 021, my namespace, and then the function, which was in the NPC folder, and then it was in the dialog folder, and then it was in the controllers folder, and it was NPC interact. Interact. Done. Okay, let's copy that. Copy. And let's paste it into our advancement file. Hey, we've got rid of that red. Okay, looks good. Interacted with an entity. That entity is a villager. It has the tag NPC, and then it will run NPC interact. Okay, let's go to NPC interact. And the first thing we're going to do is revoke that advancement so we can do it again. Okay, save that. And then for testing purposes, say hi. Save. Back we go. Reload button. Very handy. Bob, what do? You say hi. Noodle says hi. Cool. Let's go back. Get rid of that. Okay, so we've revoked the advancement. Oops, almost broke my chair. What do we want to do next? I want to check. I'm going to add a check to see if the player is close enough. Execute. Unless entity, any entity, type equals villager, tag equals NPC, distance equals less than 3, we will run. So if there is not a villager with the tag NPC within 3 blocks of me, we will run return. So we'll exit the function, but just before we exit, we'll run something. We'll run a tell raw. And that tell raw will say, what should we say? Well, no, we have to do text first. Sorry, text. Why is it not happy? It's because I haven't put the selector in there. I should move closer. Let's put the selector in so it's happy. Who can see it? At S can see it. Okay. So I should move closer. Let's do a little test, quick test of that. So we can reach him. I should move closer. Now he doesn't do anything because we've taken away that high. Okay, let's go back. Now let's find out which one are we talking to. So let's do execute if entity, any entity, type equals villager, tag equals Bob, distance equals less than 3. We will run. So if it's Bob, we will return. We're going to exit, but before we exit, we will run function NPC Bob. So if we are talking to Bob, we're going to exit this function because there's no point checking if we're talking to anyone else. But if we're talking to Noodle, then we'll run the Noodle function. Save. So let's go into NPC Bob, and we'll just say I'm Bob, and we'll go into NPC Noodle, say I'm Noodle. Save. Okay, back we go for a bit of testing. Okay, Bob, what do you say? You say nothing at all because you're angry. Okay, we did a reload. Let's check if we've got any mistakes. NPC Interact is still there. NPC Bob and NPC Noodle are still there. Okay. Interact. What mistakes have we done here? Controllers NPC Bob, and Bob say I'm Bob. Well, that seems pretty simple. How have we made a mistake there? Let's go here. I like to do say hi. Let's just do that. We'll go back. We'll do reload. Okay, we're definitely running that function. So we know this one's running. So if entity, well, here's the problem. We've got entity at S, should be at E, at E. I was checking if I am a villager, which is kind of pointless. There we go. Let's pop back, do a reload. Bob says I'm Bob. Noodle says I'm Noodle. Everything going okay so far. I like to check often because something like that, you know, you want to catch them. Right, let's go back. Let's set up some data storage. So, I didn't make files for this. In dialog, I'm going to create a new file called storage data reset.mc function. And I'm going to copy and paste that and rename it to storage data setup. First one I'm going to make is the reset, and I'm going to reset all the different stuff we've got. So data, then we have remove from storage. We haven't got any storage made yet. IDYT, it's episode 21. I'm going to call it dialogue. And inside dialogue, I'm going to have some data. What data? I'm going to have an NPC. I'm going to reset that. That's going to be temporary for storing the NPC's name. I'm going to have buffer message, temporary for storing the message. Buffer command, temporary for storing command. Player progress, that's going to be temporary for storing the player's progress while talking to the NPC. I'm going to have no message if command success. That's temporary. We'll see what these do later. At the moment, it's like, well, what are all these things you're resetting? Don't put that there. We reset Bob and stop it. Reset Bob. Next line, please. And reset Noodle. Now, I think by habit, I've capitalized Bob, so let's get rid of that. So basically, this whole command is just resetting our data storage. We'll look at it a bit more later. So now let's do the setup. The first thing I want to do in the setup is reset the data that's already there. So I'm going to do function data reset. And now I'm going to do some text for what the NPC is going to say. So I'm going to do data modify storage dialogue. So now we've got Bob. You can see that's one of the ones we reset. I will append a value. What value do I want to append? I will append something into message, and it's just going to be, hello, my name is Bob. Cool. And I'm going to copy that. Copy. And I put another one down. And this time he'll say something different. He'll say, how are you? So what I want him to do is when I talk to him, he's going to say, hello, my name is Bob. How are you? Hello, my name is Bob. How are you? He's going to cycle through those messages. Let's do something for Noodle. He's not going to say my name is Bob. He's going to say my name is Noodle. And then paste another one. Copy Noodle there. Paste it over Bob. Let's empty that out. He's going to say a few more things. So I'm going to copy this one. Copy. And he's going to run a command. I think Bob will run a command as well, actually. So he's going to say 3 things. Then when you've done something, he's going to move on to 2 more things. And then when you've done something else, he's going to move on again. So he's going to say quite a bit more than Bob. Bob, I'm also going to give a command to. Command. And Bob's command is just going to, he's going to say I'm running a command. That's Bob's command. And then we will move on to hello, my name is Noodle. What's he going to say next? I want him to do a fetch quest. So do you like something? Do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? So he's going to cycle through these 1, 2, 3. And then he is going to cycle between 2 other messages. Let's do you have a potato? And he's also going to say, can you give me one? And these are both going to run a command as well. Command. And the command these ones are going to be a bit of a long one. He's going to run a function. And the function he's going to run is ID YT 021. Okay, and then it was in NPC, and then it was in dialogue, and then we put it into progress, and then we called it noodle potato check. There we go, and we also had the no message if command success. And I'm going to put that in here as well. No message if command success. And I can set that to anything really. I'm just going to set it to true. And let's copy that copy, and we'll give it to that one as well. And his last messages are going to be, oh wow, thank you. I have opened the door. And he's also going to say, thanks again for my potato. Ooh, now something, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up here, this is from 0 to 1. So we have entry, we better make that a comment. We have 0 and 1 entries in the array. Let's do another one here as well. This is going to be 0 to 2. These ones would be 3 to 4. And these ones would be 5 to 6. So starting at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just a bit helpful because we'll be using those numbers later. Okay. I think, apart from that spelling mistake on the word like, we're done. Okay. So for now, you can, if you want, ignore the command and ignore the no message if command success and just focus on the message bit. Let's keep going though. Let's save that. Close that. Storage data reset, we won't be doing that again. Close that. We won't be using interact again. Let's close that. And we'll stick with Bob and Noodle. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do a reload, but I'm also going to do, let's create the data, a reset. So we better reload first. And it will be function storage data setup. Okay, data get from storage. There's all our data. Looks good. Okay, done. Right, Bob, let's do you first because you're the easier one. Let's have a go at Bob. Right, what's Bob going to do? The first thing I want to do is save my progress to storage so I can access it using a macro. So I'm going to execute store result into storage. Now into storage, my storage there, yeah. I'll store it into the player progress. Remember we reset that in the reset function we did. As an integer, times it by 1, and we will run scoreboard players get from S player progress Bob, because this is Bob's NPC Bob function. So we now have our player progress we can access from storage. And I'm also going to do data modify storage dialog NPC set value to Bob. So there's two things we can access when using a macro. The macro will be here, so let's just do run function for now. So that will go off and say the message, and then it will come back and we will increase our score. Because we've spoken to him once, so we want the score to go up. And he's only got 2 messages, so we better reset them. So execute if score player progress Bob matches, so 2 run scoreboard players reset our Bob score. Okay, And here's where we're going to be running our function. And it's going to be a macro function using some of the stuff we've put into player storage here and some of the stuff we put in using storage data setup. We are going to do function. And we can find it, dialog init. We're going to initialize the dialog and we're going to run it with storage dialog. We're going to pass over all our dialog to it. So that's going to be everything in data storage setup, all of this, all the messages. And it's going to be my player progress, which I've just saved. And it's going to be Bob, which I've just saved. Let's go over to dialog init. Okay. First thing we want to do is get the message, the current message. So we can get that using which NPC we're talking to and my current player progress with that NPC. So we will, first of all, I'll write it without the macro. We will do a data modify storage dialog buffer message. Remember, we reset that one as well. And we're going to set that from storage ID dialog, and we want to get it from Bob, and we want to get it from his first array message. So Bob 0 message. If we go back to setup and look at setup, we can see Bob, this is Bob 0, and we're going to go in here and we're going to get it from message. So we're going to be getting this, hello, my name is Bob, and we're going to be saving that into buffer message. Right, but we need this to be dynamic, so we are going to replace Bob and we're going to replace that 0, and we're going to replace them with what we saved here, player progress and Bob. So let's say you are using data that I've passed to you. Bob, we saved that into NPC, and we saved that 0 or that number into player progress. Now, got a spelling mistake there, and we didn't look like I quite hit the $sign. Okay, done. So we're saving the message, and then what we want to do is display the message. So we will execute. We'll execute this as the villager, as any entity. Type equals villager. Oh, because the as is wrong. I do the silliest spelling mistakes. As the villager, tag equals, it's an NPC. Distance equals, I think we were using 3. And we'll run it at them as well. We will run function, dialog display, and we will run it with storage dialog. So now we've got access to everything that was in there before, and we've got access to buffer message. Save that. We will go into dialog display, and here is where we want to display the message. For now, I just think I might do say hi. No, let's do the message. Let's do it. So we'll do a tell raw for who's going to be able to see it? All players, but all players in a distance of 3, because we don't want the whole server being able to see it. That'd be strange. And we will have in here, I'm going to have an entity who, well, we'll have at s. Now that will be the NPC we're running as, because remember in dialog init we said execute as at. So this function is running as that villager. So at s is not me, it's the villager. I want to get some NBT from it, and I want to get its custom name. Okay, and I think I'll have to interpret that. So we'll say interpret true. I'm having problems spelling today. Interpret true. And then we need to say the message as well. well, we better have a space. You can format these however you like to make it look a bit nicer. Text, space, and then we'll have text, hi. Okay, but we don't want to say hi every time. I want to be using, from dialog init, we saved the buffer message. I want to be using buffer message. So let's go remove hi, and we'll change that $, open and close, buffer message, and let's just tell it you are a macro. Save. Ooh, okay, let's go and have a look and see how many problems we got. Let's do a reload. Shouldn't have to reset the data. That's Noodle. Bob. My name is Bob. How are you? Hello, my name is Bob. How are you? Hello, my name is Bob. How are you? Okay, we're doing pretty well. Let's keep going. Right. Back. Let's look at the storage data. In fact, I think we can close dialog display. I don't think we're going to be doing anything else in there. Let's get rid of that. NPC Noodle we're going to be playing with. NPC Bob. We'll copy all of that into Noodle, so we'll keep that for now. Dialog init. I don't think... Yeah, we want to do some changes in here. So let's get that command bit working as well. Storage data setup. So here, in Bob's first message, he's trying to run a command. Say I'm running a command. So that he's running the say command. Let's get that working. So let's go to dialog init. Let's make a bit of space. So say, I might put a little comment here. Show message. Run command. Okay. So first of all, I think we want to check. Well, first of all, we want to save the command, and we also want to check if there is a command. So let's do data. What on earth was that? Data remove from storage, from dialog, buffer command. So we'll reset that, and then we'll do execute if data storage dialog Bob. Now this will be changed. At the moment we don't want to hard code an NPC in here. We want to be using a macro, but we'll hard code it first. Bob 0 dot command. So if there is a command there, then we will run data modify storage, my storage, buffer command. We will set from storage, my storage, Bob 0 dot command. Okay, so at the moment it's only going to be checking Bob's 0. So we need to do what we did up here. We're going to grab this. We want to check whichever NPC it is. So let's change all these Bobs to NPC, and let's change all these zeros to player progress. Okay, it didn't. Oh, I see. I know why it doesn't like it. That's all right. We'll put that, change that 0, and we'll say $sign at the front of the command. You are a macro. Okay, so now it should go to the current NPC we're talking to, my current player progress. If there is a command there, we'll buffer that and save it. Now, if there is one there, if command then run, what we'll do here is we'll execute if data storage dialog buffer command, and we reset it. So if there is one in there, we want to run function command run with storage dialog. Okay, so if there is a command, we're going to go into command run, and here we will run the command. So all we have to do here is say you are going to be using a macro, and you are. So if my command was say hi, so let's say that's the command I want to run. First of all, we'll say this line is using a macro, boom, and then we'll replace that bit with the $ again and the curve and the straight brackets. Sorry, normal curved brackets, and in here we put it into buffer command. There we go. So that should be running the command. Let's go back, do a bit of a reload. Bob, where are you? I'm running a command. Hello, my name is Bob. I'm running a command. So each time Bob says his first message, it says, I'm running a command. That's cool. Let's go to our data setup. Let's change the command just to check it is working. Let's change it to, I don't have to, let's go here. Let's grab this block. Fill, tab, tab, tab. Control copy. Okay, let's go back. Let's change this command from a say command because that's a little bit boring. We'll change it to a set block there to white wool. And we'll save that. Now I've changed the storage data. So I'll reload, but I'll also have to reset my data. So reload, reset the data. Bob, how are you? That's the second message. No command with the second message. First message, command. Cool. Nice. Okay. Now let's go back. And we're going to use what we had in data reset. We had no message if command success. Actually, I'll save that for when we do Noodle. So I think, let's close some of these down. Command run we'll never use again. Let's close that down. Close the storage down. Let's stick the dialog in it. And here, no message if command was successful. Now that bit's going to be set in a function. So this one isn't calling a function, so it won't work for that one. Let's keep going on. I think what we'll do now is we'll work on Noodle. So let's close that. Let's keep storage data set up open. Let's close. Let's copy Bob, all of Bob's NPC Bob, and we'll copy that into NPC Noodle. We're going to have some differences though. Player progress, well, we want to say Noodle's progress this time, Noodle. And we don't want to set the NPC to Bob, we want to set it to Noodle. Can I just copy the word Noodle, please? We'll change that Bob, we'll change that Bob, and we'll change that Bob. Now, Noodle doesn't say two things. So if we just run this now, if we look at storage data, he should say, hello, my name is Noodle, do you like potatoes? Hello, my name is Noodle, do you like potatoes? Let's do a test of that. Reload, Noodle. My name is Noodle, do you like potatoes? There we go. That's cool. So he says three things at the beginning. So we don't want to change this when it says 2. We want to change this when it says 3. Save, go back and test. Almost. My name is Noodle, do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? My name is Noodle, do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? Right. Okay. I'm going to go back. So what I'm going to do is what we have is he's saying, my name is Noodle, do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? And then he's going to go on to cycling through, do you have a potato? Can you give me one? And at the same time he's saying that, he's going to be running a function to check if I'm holding a potato. If I'm not holding a potato, the command will fail and he will still say the message. If I am holding a potato, the command will be a success and it'll be no message if command success. Okay. So I think the first thing to do would be to do a potato check. That's what we want to do. We want to check if I am holding a potato. Let's see if I've got that function anywhere. in my notes. Little pause while I realise I do not have that function in my notes. Let me find it. I could just write it from scratch, to be honest, but you know what happens if we start writing things from scratch. What I'll do is I'll dig into my little archives, look in the data, there we go, open it up, functions, NPC, dialogue, progress, noodle potato check. Please open that for me. Okay. Here we are. This is going to be the function he runs when he's checking to see if I've got a potato. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reset whether the command is successful. So I'll do data remove storage ID dialog buffer command success. Do you know what? I don't think I'm actually resetting that. Copy. Let's go to our storage data reset. No, we're not resetting it. Let's reset that one as well. Can you go in there? There we go. Save that. Right, and back to the potato check. So far, there is nothing in buffer command success. The command is not successful. If I'm not holding a potato, there's no point looking any further. So we will execute unless items, entity, me, in my weapon main hand is a potato, run, return, fail. Save. Now this returns a fail state. So normally what you can do is you could run a function and say if it's successful, but I can't work out how to do that with extra data. If you see, you probably don't see what I mean. So here, NPC chat, where are we calling this from? Noodles potato check. So we want dialogue in it, if a command. So we're running it with storage. And if you're running it with storage, I can't say if function. I think I'm probably just confusing you. We'll keep doing it like this. I'll keep going. I don't even... can I explain? Yes. Okay. So what we can do is we can do return run function. We'll just use the load function. Okay. So that will obviously return out of this function, and it will run this one as it goes. But we can also do execute if function run say hi. Okay, so what we're going to do is run that function. Let's say we're running potato check. So it'll go off to potato check, and potato check says return a fail, and it go back to init, and it'll say no, it failed. I won't say hi. It's like if it returns success, it would say it was successful. I will say hi. Or if it just ran through to the end, I think it'd also be considered a success. But I can't do that. Execute if function with storage. I can't run that with data. So what I'm doing is I am setting my own success check at the top. Right, let's keep going. I think I probably just confused you a bit there. Who knows? So, potato. If I haven't got one, you might as well exit the sub. If I have got one, then we'll clear one. You can't just type clear one. We'll clear one potato. And I will increase my dialogue. And we know we're talking to Noodle. This is Noodle's potato check. So we'll link players, add me, Noodle. We'll increase it by 1. Actually, what I'll do is I will set it. 1, 2, 3. Set to 5. So what's going to happen? S. Let's go and look at the data. We're going to go, my name is Noodle. Do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? Do you have a potato? Can you give me one? Cycle, cycle, cycle until I hit him with a potato. And he's going to say, you do have one. And then he's going to set my progress to 5. So he's going to jump up to here, 5 and 6. Oh, wow. Thank you. I've opened the door. Cool. Back to Noodle Potato Check. We will then call the dialog function. Function Noodle. So we're going to call his dialog again. And then what we'll do is we will say the command was successful. So we will data modify storage dialog buffer command success set value. You can set it to anything you like. I'm just setting it to true. It's just checking if the actual storage exists. Doesn't matter what's inside. So let's set that to true. Save. Let's go back to NPC Noodle because we're going to have to make some changes here. Currently, Noodle is just resetting at 3. So that's sort of okay, but we're going to need some others as well. Let's change that to, if Noodle gets to 5, he will reset, or he will set to 3. Save. Let's look at the storage data. So if Noodle gets to 5, he'll say, hello, my name. Do you like? Can you give me one? Do you have? Can you give? He will hit 5. He will reset to 3. Do you have a potato? Can you give me one? Do you have a potato? Can you give me one? Okay. Back to Noodle. Let's copy this. Copy. On the other hand, if he gets all the way to 7, then he's going to reset to 6. Save. So, Noodle, let's have a look at your storage. He's going to say, hello, do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? He's going to cycle between these two commands until I give him a potato. When I give him a potato, he's going to set my progress to 5 and call the function again. So he's going to set it to 5 and call the function again and say that. And then as I click on him each time, he's going to keep saying, thanks again for my potato. Okay, that seems all right. He hasn't actually opened the door though, has he? He hasn't done it. We haven't given him a command. Let's just do an example command. And we'll take that set block from Bob. You can copy that. Maybe Bob shuts the door. And he is going to put in a redstone block. Redstroni. It's like the Italian redstone block. Save that. Fingers crossed. Back we go. We reload. We've changed the data, so I'm going to reset the data. I'm going to get myself a potato on the off chances this is going to work first time. Noodle. Hello, my name is Noodle. Do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? Do you have a potato? Can you give me one? Do you have a potato? Can you give me... Now he's stuck in that loop. I give him a potato. Let's clear the chat. Oh, wow. Thank you. I've opened the door. He has opened the door. Look. And now if I keep clicking... He said it twice for some reason. Now if I keep clicking on it... Thanks again, thanks again, thanks again, thanks again, thanks again. Okay, now, I would like to say that I am finished, but why did he say that twice? Let's do, in here, reset, chain, always active. I've got 5 minutes left before I have a class start, so we might leave this unfinished. We are going to scoreboard, players, reset for all players, Noodle's progress. Done. Reset that. Noodle, why did you say it twice? NPC Noodle. That seems all right. Let's do the potato check. Let me check the potato check. Did I just hit him twice? That's worth checking just in case. Noodle, my name is Noodle. Do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? Give him one. No, he just said it twice. Well, this is strange. I'm sure when I was testing this, he wasn't getting it twice. Can we, in 5 minutes, work out why? Is it because the function's calling again? But if we don't call the function again, he's not even going to say it once. It's always worth the test. Let's turn that off. Let's go back. Reload. We haven't changed the data. I have changed. Do need to reset my progress though. My name's Noodle. Like, can you give me one? Can you give me one? There we go. So he didn't move on that time. NPC Noodle. Why are you saying it twice? We are clearing the potato. Yes, we are. We're setting your dialog progress. We're calling a dialog function. And we're saying the command was true. Ah, that's why he's saying it twice. Dialog init. We haven't done. No message if command was successful. We've missed that bit out. Okay, so if the command was successful, we don't want to display a message. So, in fact, I could just go underneath that. Let's do this bit. Execute as... No. Execute if data storage, yes, and then we had buffer command success. Actually, we've got to check. We have to check first. Let's check the dialog. So if noodle 0.command, so if there is a command, obviously we can't say noodle. We're going to have to do what we've got up here. NPC player progress. So if it does say no message if command success, no message command success, and also if data storage, you're going to make me type my own. Yes, you are, because I've got those. I got those dollar signs in there causing a problem. Dialog buffer command success run return fail. Stick that on the front. Okay, so if the current message contains no message of command success, and if data storage, I think, and if data storage says the command was successful, then we return fail. Let's save that. Let's pop back. My God, I've got 3 minutes. Let's reload, reset. Please, Noodle, be good. My name is Noodle. Do you like potatoes? Can you give me one? Do you have potato? Can you give me one? Do you have potato? Oh, wow, I have opened the door. He's opened the door. And he didn't repeat the message. Thanks again for my potato. Woohoo, that was just in time. Right. There we go. What do you think of that? That was my experiment, playing around with a bit of villager dialogue. So we can do a fetch quest with it. We can have them run commands. So the command they could run could be, here, take this lovely sword. Any command you like. Have a play around with it. There's probably better ways of doing it. If you've got improvements, please let me know. Any comments, chuck them down. I've got to run. I've got 1 minute now-ish. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.